Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400 here. It's time for another video, and this time, as you can see by the title above, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time. Actually, this is a video I didn't want to do, but this is a video I had to do because the specific topic of this video has been interfering with my personal life ever since, for about 10 years now, which is that's how long it's been since high school, of course, has ended for high school has ended for me. While there are several things I do miss about high school, there's several things I did not like about high school, and that still to this day, that still haunt, bother, and even anger me to this day. To this day. So as you can see by the title above, this is a rant on high school. This rant was also inspired by me missing my high school reunion, which I'm sort of angry and in a pissed off move about, which is why, apart from the happy birthdays, compliments and comments on people's various statuses, haven't been saying or doing much with people ever since the high school reunion. I really wanted to attend the 2018 high school reunion, and had initially planned on attending. That was up until the organizers of the events, not going to say any names for copyright purposes, but that's the organizers of the events wanted due money, wanted me to pay money, and of course I had wanted me to pay money through a specific order. I couldn't pay. One of the things I was mad about, I couldn't pay on the day of event or try to meet one of these people in person and pay. No, I had to pay by money order, which I of course do not own. Despite my age, I do not own a credit card, so of course I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Then the one person who can do the people who can do this for me, I am sort of angry with at the moment, and that of course is my parents. I am angry with both of them at the moment, so I didn't want to ask them. For money. So with that being said, now the actual event for the high school reunion, which was of course a cookout, I didn't want to go to. I really didn't want to go to, but I really did want to see a bunch of friends of mine, who, of course, judging from the photos and their statuses, did attend. And I also didn't know who was attending. Already one guy who I planned to do this with is busy doing something else, and another person is no longer friends with. That's another reason I didn't go. Have a huge problem with a lot of people from the class of 2018 graduating class. Sucks you have to go to the reunion of the year you graduated. And of course, as you know, a couple of former graduates. I think only one of them was 2018 though. One or two of them were class of 08, not 18, class of 08. Only three of them are no longer with us. Once again, for copyright purposes, I'm not going to say any names, but for people who are already watching this video, you know who I'm talking about. So well, let's get the rest of this video started. Time to hit my music.
show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to get my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity, trying to take no mind of me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now. Like a million faces.
This is the second part of my rant on high school. High school. Like I said in the first part, like I said, while I do miss several things and several people from high school, there are also several things I did not like about high school when I was going, and I'm still angry about several years later. And I mentioned not attending the class of 018 to 2018 reunion. Not once again, not going to see any names. Not going to see any names for copyright purposes, but I got a huge problem with a lot of class of 2018 people, including one of the guys I wanted to go with, who also didn't go. And of course, like I said, I really wanted to go, but I didn't know who was attending, and I also didn't want to go there. And none of the people I was close with talked to were actually there. Were actually there. So that was one of the reasons I didn't want to go. But of course, as the main reason was I couldn't secure the money. I couldn't secure the money. I don't have a credit card, so I can't do a money order. I can't do any form of money order, which that angered me. I now know I would ask what they need the money for. But after seeing what they did, the cookout, I see what they needed the money for. But I'm still mad that they needed that money order. I couldn't meet any of these people somewhere in person to give them the money that was needed for, and I just didn't want to send or pay all this money. And like I said, the people who could have paid this easily, I'm angry with the people who could have paid this. So that's why I didn't go, and I'm mad I didn't go, because while I didn't really want to go to a cookout, but I wanted to see a lot of my former classmates and current Facebook friends in person again. So this is something I've been hot about. Then even before the reunion, the deaths. Like I said, I think only two of them. One who just recently died this past weekend. Yeah, this past Friday. This past weekend. One guy and another guy who I wasn't close with, but he was hugely popular, and I knew who he was, and it came in shock when I heard that he died. Once again, I'm not going to say his name, but once again, for people who are watching this video, former members of Southwest DeKalb, you know who I'm talking about. That really hit home. Yeah, I even gave my condolences to various friends of his. But yeah, so yeah, that really hit home. That's another reason. It would just be too sad. I would be there with all of former graduates, with all the class of 2008 alumni, Southwest DeKalb alumni, and that guy would not be here with us. So that was one of the reasons I passed on this reunion. So yeah, not attending the reunion really angered me. But even stuff before that, as most people know, when I went to Southwest, I was part of the SWD Southwest DeKalb wrestling team. And for those of you who were on the team with me, know that I did not get along with the head coach of Southwest, and I'm still mad. Several years later, I let a guy that week who I really don't have the biggest respect. I don't have the biggest respect. The guy was always just a terrible teacher and a lame high school, a lame high school wrestler, not collegiate or Olympics, which is that's where the big boys play. A lame high school wrestling, which is the weakest and most amateurish form of Greco-Roman and freestyle um, wrestling, which those are the styles of wrestling. That's the most amateur and lamest and weakest and most pussiest form of wrestling, which was the high school style. This guy, he was a champion in high school. Went to the state championship, the biggest championship in high school. Went there every year and never won it. And yet, several years later, act like he's the man. And since none of us could beat him, no one on the team could beat him. We had to do as he said. We had to do as he said. But yeah, he was a bad teacher. It was most of the team and the assistant coaches who got me where I wanted. All those trophies and awards you see back here, I owe those to the rest of my team, to the rest of my team and coaches who did see the potential in me and who trained, worked with me, helped me to get to my goals. But I have a huge problem with the head coaches for constantly underestimating me, mocking my pride, insulting my intelligence on numerous occasions, which even led to me, which cost me victories in the ring, and yeah, and I'm mad I let him do all these things. Oh yeah, dumping the team's failures on me while also holding me down and holding me down by forcing me to wrestle junior JV matches, while they wrestle all these big time varsity matches, lose, but still find a way to blame and take fault into what I do. Instead of taking fault into what you do, instead of accepting that the whole team just wasn't as good as they used to be, which is that's how it was back in 2008. Don't know what it's like now because I haven't been there in a while because of the head coach. Because of the head coach. Then I'm even angrier at my dad forcing me to forgive that guy, and me after finally putting my foot down and standing up to that guy and just doing what I should have done from the get-go, and that was just leave that place. My dad forcing me to forgive that guy, and once again I'm back on the team listening to a coach I don't agree with and don't respect and don't respect. And the one thing I'm mad about is I let this guy, this weakling, which is what I think of him being a champion wrestler does not impress me. I let this weakling walk all over me, disrespect me, insult me, mock my intelligence, insult my intelligence, mock my pride. I let him do all that, and I let him get away, get away with it. No form of punishment or anything. And thanks to my dad, I ended up forgiving and once again rejoining the team when I only came back to the team for my fans, and I arrogantly thought I could beat Tucker, Lakeside, and Maris, and boy was I wrong. So I got my butt kicked by. Actually, I didn't even wrestle Tucker. I didn't even make it to Tucker. I got my butt kicked by Maris and Lakeside in what would be my final matches, man. So those are things. And just other problems I had with school, signing up for driver's education every year, never getting it. I hated how they offered a class that not everyone can take, driver's education, but instead, for my schedule, oh yeah, the educational system, which I also wasn't a fan of, taking various classes, putting it on a resume. You complete that said resume, and you get a diploma. When only about few of the classes, none of the classes are really classes that do anything that would help you and empower you in the world. Of all the classes I've ever had in high school, there was only like one or three that were still useful today. Never getting the accommodations I needed. One of the things I hated the most about high school was constantly being in special education. In middle school, didn't care. In elementary school and middle school, didn't care because I didn't want to be near the regular kids who were gonna pick on me. High school, after showing I could keep up with the regular kids, I was angry that they put me back in special ed when I got to high school. Then they make the easiest classes special ed, such as literature and social studies. In the early, before they got this right, literature and social studies. But the two hardest classes I have, which are math and science, my two worst subjects, oh, we made those regular, and they put me in the loudest, most ignorant class, which means I'm constantly distracted, constantly laughing at other people's foolishness to the point that you did enough to get by, to get out of high school, but you didn't do much to prepare. You didn't study or do much to prepare for life, or prepare for college. So you didn't get the accommodations you needed. Now you're forced to, in college, you're forced to relearn all that stuff you were supposed to learn in high school, and briefly had to stop going to college because all that stuff was too hard for me, and put college on indefinite hold because of that, and other reasons too, but that's another video for another day. So there was that. So yeah, and then one class that I would later take it again and make it up, but this made me mad. One class I ended up failing, international business. Once again, I sign up for driver's ed every year. They give me classes I do not need. They give me classes I do not need. International business and economics, which is economics is the final stage of social studies. International business is an elective class. Both of these classes are the exact same thing, and I ended up failing the international business class. The first time I ever failed anything. There were several other reasons that led to my failure, such as not telling my parents, I didn't want help from, because they didn't help me with another problem I had with another teacher. And I didn't need any help. I just needed more time to do my schoolwork, which the teacher didn't know, and the teacher who was supposed to tell them that, my case manager, never made it to her. So I ended up failing that class. But all I needed was more time. Then I hated they would offer a class like that. They would offer a class like that as an elective when it's already a core class. So number one, it's already a core class, and why would you offer a class with no homework? No homework as an elective, with no homework as an elective, when that was already a class that was already the economics. That's the final stage of social studies in high school. So yeah, that's one thing, and that caused my GPA to go down, which that made it even difficult to get into college. That made it even difficult to get into college. You later pull your grades up, but I was never able to really pull up my overall GPA. And every time I go to school, I'm reminded of that terrible GPA. For someone average, that is good, but for me who expects big things for himself, I hate that. And because of that, I have a terrible attitude and don't even like being in school because of that. So yeah. So yeah, well, that was my rant on high school. Well, I'm done for now. I'll see you guys later.
Recognize them all, and one by one they all go number as before. In the face of reason, I can't take no more. One by one they all go like on the floor. Is it me you say you're looking for? Let me show you who I am and what I have in store. Curiosity. trying to take a bite of me. Let me show you just what I